Kanchi Kiowa, hello, how are you all? Welcome to Homelands, originally broadcast on CFCR 90.5 FM in Saskatoon, Homelands of the Métis and Treaty 6 territory. This is your favorite auntie, Andrea Letting Dishmi Kashoon. My name is Andrea Letting, and I will be your host today over this next hour. And we have our guest, David Fineday. David has been talking to us for the last several sessions just about homelessness in general. He shared his story. He is the descendant of the original Fineday the warrior, and he calls himself a hereditary war chief. He's a advocate for the homeless, for those on the streets, for those struggling with addictions, and he advocates for them. And he comes from he had that lived experience on the streets himself, aging out of the foster care system and struggling with all of that. So with the 60 scoop and so on. So David, welcome to the show. And what would you like to talk about today?
Oh, Ali, some of the changes that I've seen out on the street. Um, lately I had to go through hearings through rentalsmen, and I just got done one of those, and I'm now waiting for the decision to be made. It was supposed to be made by today, and really something. But the street is changing out there. They're having another pit count on October 9th, no, October 16th,
Mhm.
I believe. And oh, I don't know. They're gonna find a lot out there. The average age went from 30 to 40, probably from 15 to 25. Like it's real. Young families struggling,
Mhm.
pregnant women,
Mhm.
yeah, and are struggling. They don't have nowhere to go. Huh? I don't know. People are telling me today, David, the mayor said she's gonna vote for 36 hours. And I'm trying to get a hold of her or somebody to see if that's true. And if it is, I want to be right there beside her those 36 hours and see who else wants to come and do that
Mhm.
and see how hard it is to get blankets and sweaters and pants, socks, hats. City councilor, but I don't know. He's seen it all. He's seen all what's happening out there at the women's shelter. Yeah, at Friendship Center. We stopped and got a coffee at Timmy's and some cups, and let's go give out coffee. And we went maybe 2 blocks, and there were some people right there, and we stopped and talked to them, got their story, and then we went across 22nd, I believe, and we seen some more people there, and they wanted, oh, they were just walking around. They were, I forget where they were going. So we went to the Friendship Center, and we went in there and talked, and it was already like 12:30, 1 o'clock. And that guy told us a good story. Yeah. And then we came out, and when we went in, there was a guy sitting by the door on the right hand side. And when we went in, he said, "Hi, David." I said, "Oh, howdy." When I came out, he asked me, "Do you think you could give me a ride to St. Mary's to the men's overnight place there?" And I looked at city council and I said, "What do you think? Could we give him a ride?" And he said, "Yeah." Hmm. He jumped in behind me, and the door flew open on the other side, and 3 more guys piled in. Like, I got real. That's so funny. But we gave him a ride down to St. Mary's, and we went in there, and I did not like the feeling. where they were doing 140, 150 people there in one night. They were doing maybe 30, 40 people. That's how the situation had changed in there.
People just didn't want to come in.
They didn't like how those foreigners treated them.
Uh-huh.
I seen that as soon as I walked in the door. I worked at Giant Tiger for 5 years. For 4 years, I was department head of groceries, and they hired these foreigners in there, and who wants to be called the dumb Indian, or we don't listen, we don't have to listen to you. That's what I was told. How many times? I went and told my boss. I don't know if he talked to them or not. The next day we went back, the same thing happened again. Yeah. So I went and took off my t-shirt and I walked out. But if you heard the racism, you felt it, you know why people don't go to those places. Sable Toten Outreach. There's some, they're an outreach team that goes out and walks the streets, just like I do. And they walk all over and they see people, homeless people, anybody. They go give them coffee, give them, if they got a boot bag or sweater, if they need, well, do you need anything? And they help them out. And it's really something to see people change. Just like with my Smudge On program, I've seen so many people change through that. But at the same time, they have to have a place where they can relax and let everything go every day. That's a lot to let go. The stories, the feelings. It's a lot. It took me a while to learn that. Actually, it was my ex-wife that taught me that. That used to work that time. Anyways, I'd come home and I just, oh, I'd be getting upset. Say, hey, go leave your work at work, okay? And so I learned how to try to do that. Yeah. But to find a place for a young couple or even any young person coming out of the system, out of the jails, anywhere like that, they'll need a piece, maybe 2 pieces of ID, references, bank statements, and income tax assessment papers. That's what I had to have. And then 3 references. Some of them want 3 references. Yeah, so. And for these young people, they don't know that kind of stuff. Why don't they have a class, or why don't they teach them stuff like that before they come out of the system? You're in the system, they don't teach you that. I know. They teach you how to shovel shit and throw bales and clean up chickens and stuff like that, but they don't know, teach you how to run a house. And that's where lots of people fail. Yeah. They need something like that. I don't know how many new people came out of the system this year. I wish we could go to social services and find out the statistics on, okay, how many are going to be out this year? 1,000? 1,500? They're having another pig count, like I said. I bet you they're going to find 3,000 people out there. Plus another 1,500 to 1,000 hidden homeless. People who are scared to say they're homeless. Yeah, that's what they call hidden homeless. Sleep on people's couches all over town. You can sleep on a different couch every night if you want, and then start over again the next month. But I don't know. For people, for this being Treaty 6 territory and treaty rights is to have a house, and a human right is to have a house. Where are we slipping here? Somebody has to step up and do something, both sides has to, not just somebody, both sides. And figure out how we can solve this homeless problem. They talk about affordable housing. Walk down on the street and see if you could find anybody that can afford affordable housing. Somebody that can give them a $50,000 down payment and another $5,000 a month. They can't even make it on $400 a month down. That's why they're on the street. Lots of people talk about the SIS program, where they were getting their own budget, and then they were getting their power, electricity, that paid for their bills, and then their rent paid for. All of a sudden, a few years ago, they changed it to that, where you get everything, and people didn't know that. So they spent their money. Now there's people out on the street, and it's more and more and more every day. I was kicked out on September 1st. I'm still squatting, but I'm waiting for a decision. I don't know what's gonna happen, so I might be out there on the street right beside. I'll be 3001. Yeah.
It's scary, and there's no, there's kind of no, the landlords have hold so much of the rights, and there's no rent control, and it's a really bad situation. I think somebody needs to
But
step
we're
in.
waiting for a decision,
Mhm.
and my lawyer says she can appeal it to King's Bench Court.
Mhm.
And that we can send that decision to the ombudsman.
Yeah.
And the ombudsman will step in.
Yeah.
Because they know my story since this first started out 3 years ago.
Yeah.
Yeah. And they said, no, they can't do that to you.
Mhm.
So we're waiting for a decision and then take it to King's Bench Court if I don't like it. I just want to stay there until I can find a good home to stay in. Supported living. You hear lots of stories. No, I don't like the food that they cook there. I don't like the this and I don't like that. And my late cousin was in 3 of them. And then she ended up in Park Ridge for 2 months before she passed away.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
You know,
I don't know.
it's important to have a good place to stay where you feel comfortable and safe. Everybody
Yeah,
deserves
with
that.
friends.
Yeah.
Park Ridge is a good place, but there's a waiting list to get in there. So, but I've applied for a couple more, and tomorrow my friend is going to take me drop off another application. So should be good. Just till I find a place to stay. I don't know what I'm gonna do with all my stuff. I have guitars, antiques, antique toys,
Mhm.
Calgary Flames stuff like you wouldn't believe it.
Yeah.
I'm a Flames fan. Yep. If you ever go through the hassle of having to go to rentalsman, go do it. Go to Classic Law and fill in an application there. And if you get help there, then they'll take you to Classic Law. You have to get a SHA number, apply for one of those, and it takes a while for one of those. And then you have to fill out your complaint form or whatever it is. And then you need a $50 fee. Yeah. And then they decide if it's good enough. So, and then if it is, then they'll put a hearing date on it. If it's like mine, they did it within 8 days, 7 days, a week.
Mhm.
So they'll put a rush on it.
Mhm.
So I'm just waiting to hear what they're gonna say here.
How long was the hearing itself, David? I'm kind of curious about
3
that.
hours.
Wow.
Yeah, they usually,
3 hours.
I've been in those kind of hearings before. They're an hour, usually take an hour to an hour and a half.
Mhm.
But
Wow.
my lawyer was awesome. Like,
Yeah.
I tell anybody now to go to Classic Law.
Mhm.
To start, go to Safeway Token Outreach. And there's a few people in there that got schooled because I took them with me and they had to do it because I'm blind.
Mhm.
And they had to go on it. And the first time we went there, it took it 2 hours.
Yeah.
Yeah. 3 o'clock. No, that was the first time.
Mhm.
And then the next day, I got locked out of my building. So I had to go back, phone rentalsman and tell them that again. And then I got locked out of my building, and by the time everything was over, it was after 5. So I had, was that Seaway Doton Outreach put me up in a motel for the night.
Mhm.
All I had on was my shirt and my jeans, and that was it.
Yeah.
And this.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I walked in, I went into comfy there, and they just, really? I said, yeah. And they gave me a set of clothes too, clean
Oh,
clothes, yeah.
nice.
So that was cool.
Yeah, it's nice we do have support services in the city.
Yeah.
But it's too bad that they're so needed.
Yeah. That's why I have to go around and talking about say we don't know all the time. The way they treat our people, our relatives, it's our relatives. It's not a homeless person.
Mhm.
Like it's a totally, how do you say that? Much love.
Yeah.
They're
Respect
relatives,
and-
brothers, sisters, aunts, uncles,
Yeah,
cousins.
kindness, yeah,
Yeah. And
goes a
it's
long way.
totally different. There's much respect in there.
Yeah.
It's not, what are you doing? You know, or what really, do you really need that? Or, you know, you get looked down on or you get put down, and that's no good.
Mhm.
As I was saying about when I worked at Giant Tiger, there was these foreigners that came and worked in there. And these two of them, especially that one guy kept calling me down and everything. When I went to St. Mary's, when we went there that night, that guy was working there. He thought I didn't recognize him, but I had to get like about this close. Oh, what's your name? And he wouldn't tell me his name. That other girl said something, said whoever he was, but I recognized him from his voice. So I don't know. You have to go out there and experience it for yourself. And don't go dressing in no $1,000 clothes or whatever. Just put on a pair of blue jeans and a bunny hug and put a hat on and go for a walk. You know, go take out a box of coffee. Go talk to some of those people. A little hi, how are you? Can change your whole day.
Yeah, just to acknowledge them.
Instead of,
and-
what do you want? You know, that'll keep you down in a gutter. But good morning, how are you? Hey, would you like a coffee? Say, what? Somebody really thinking about me? Yeah. That's the whole difference. That's why I go out there and just talk to everybody. Yeah, you have to go out there and live it, not just saying, here, give them this money, give them this money, give them this money. If they could afford housing, they'd have houses out there. They'd have jobs. They'd be educated. But when you grow up in the system, you come out of the jails, it's totally different story. You're taught to survive in school. You don't have to survive until you hit the streets. And then you learn the rough way to survive. And that's what a lot of those young kids are learning. I don't see why they don't have a place to send them, to keep them in school or teach them how to be a family. Like I said, there's couples, young couples out there striving to stay together. There's pregnant women out there, man. I talk to one just about every day. She doesn't even know what's gonna happen.
Scary.
when you talk to people that cry, they don't know what's gonna happen. I smudge and I pray with them. And that gives them that little piece of hope. And that's what they all need. We were gonna have a smudge walk, but where our smudge walk was supposed to start, there was a whole bunch of Christians in there. And I walked in there, and I sat down there on the curb and I waited for about 10 minutes. It was just about 12 o'clock. And that guy, oh, do you believe in Jesus? I was like, do you believe in the creator? Good answer, he told me. Yeah. And we started talking about Christian stuff, and I said, yeah. Well, you realize I was taken away from my mom and dad when I was 5 years old, and I was made to sit in churches, in basements, in Sunday schools, and I had to learn that book. Yeah, it's quite a book, eh? Dick and Jane is quite a book too. He looks at me, but nobody ever learned anything from Dick and Jane. I said, what? You learned that you were brother and sister, and that you got along, and you laughed, and you talked, and you had fun. They each had a pet. They learned how to interact with their pets. Their pets even learned how to interact. That's a learning thing right there. The Bible has many, 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 many more stories or whatever, but the First Nations culture has all that too. The only thing, it wasn't written, it was spoken generation to generation to generation, and that's where the residential school, the 60 scoop, the millennium scoop, and the scoop that's even going on today is still wrecking our people. It's taken our language away. My kids can understand Cree, they won't talk it though. I hear other kids, other people can understand Cree, but they can't talk it, or they're too shy to talk it. Everybody has their own different dialect, their own different expressions. I had to learn that before, because when I talk Cree, I thought I'd sound funny, but everybody has their own different way of talking Cree. Cree, Soto, Dakota, Lakota, whatever, you all understand that same language, but everybody speaks it different, a little bit faster, a little bit slower, a little bit, I don't know. I had to learn to use my tongue in a different way to sound different, to sound, I don't know, with a First Nations accent in my language, where before I just used to talk with a white accent, and that changed how I do it. And now I can go to people, and if I hear them, I can go in and join in and start talking. But I know the old Cree, and they'll look at me, how do you know that? Because I grew up in the 60s scoop, but like I said, when I went to the reserve, I was a little white boy. And everybody teased me, so I went and hung around with the elders. And to this day, a lot of those elders, I know them, and they still talk that old Cree. And it's coming back slowly. I don't know if it was already in my head from when I was 5 years old when I lost it, or I don't know. I don't know how to explain that. I've always prayed to try and get my language back, try to keep our language. I'd like to go on a computer and start saying words the way I was taught them, the old Cree. Nowadays, there's a lot of slang out there. It's half white, half English, or half Cree, half white, half Cree, half French, or like that. And I don't know. A lot of it, the kids, a lot of the kids that do try and speak it, they speak a slang, a half a word. And I don't know. I was telling, just say the whole word. They just look at me and they don't say nothing. Maybe they don't know the whole word. you can go on the internet, isn't there Cree lessons on there, I believe?
I think so.
Different kinds of Cree
Yeah.
lessons. Bush Cree, Swampy Cree, Plains
Woodlands,
Cree,
plain,
yeah. Woodlands, plains, lots. Try to get your language back. That's one thing that will make you feel more comfortable when you go to the reserve or you go to a gathering and you go listen to the elders talk, and you go sit in there and you start talking your language with them. There's a lot of different languages that we have out there. And I don't want anybody to lose their language. That's why I always encourage everybody to go do that. Go back and learn. Learn one word every day.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a really good practice.
Yeah.
I remember when the internet first came out, that was one of the first things I did was I signed up for a Gaelic lesson, vocal on lay, it was called, a word a day.
Yeah.
And it sent you the word and how to say it and the meaning. It was
Yeah.
way back when there was.
They have that on NBC, Word of the Day.
Uh-huh.
They should have it on a different one every hour or something.
Right?
No, but then that might be too much, eh?
Good, just a little bit at a time. If you just work at a little bit at a time, you'll
Yeah,
build your vocabulary. And
that's why there's a lot of kids that aren't getting educated, and I love that. But they're missing their language. A lot of them downtown, they just know street language, which is good because they know how to talk to those other young people that try to be gangsters or whatever around the hood, and they can talk to them just like me. When 30 years ago, when I first started to do that, it was hard because I was just by myself all the time. Now there's groups of them out there, like 5, 10, 15, and that's what they need, because they can start walking and one person will attach onto this person and another person attaches onto that person, and as they just walk along like that, it's really something to see, to hear, to see people walk away with smiles. Walk away, they give them big hugs, whatever. Do you need a jacket? Do you need some socks? Or do you need some shampoo and what do you call those, hygiene bags? Like, it's really something. And now there's starting to be more people coming out there. Like I said, on Saturday, there was a group of people on the west side of that old bank on 20th and P. There was a group, Christian group, serving hot dogs and water, and they were preaching about Christianity. So we started walking down in front of it, and on the other side there was another Christian group preaching something different. It's like, yeah, and it's like, hey, there's lots of hot dogs over here. Yeah, I was big speaker.
we're just going to take a quick commercial break, but don't turn that dial. We'll be right back with more from David Fineday and Homelands. And we are back with Homelands and David Fineday, and we're just talking a little bit about saving the Cree language and the importance of even just a word a day, and people aging out onto the streets and not having the skills that they need. A lot of the issues around homelessness and that kind of thing. So, David, any other thoughts as we discuss?
I went to City Hall how many times, trying to talk to them. I'm still not on a committee. I still haven't been invited to anything like that. I'm trying to bring back the circle. I told them, why don't they go rent 20 tents from Dundurn? They have those green army tents, those big round ones. Why don't they go and get 20 of those and put 5 of them in one on the east side and put 5 of them in, or 10 of them in Pleasant Hill and 5 in we call it Meadow, no, Westmount, like that. They already have that elk or that other place coming up in March. That's one thing that really gets me. These guys, everybody makes plans, but they're not gonna be ready till next spring. What about this winter?
Yeah.
How long before there's gonna be snow on the ground? 2 weeks? 3 weeks? And then what? Who can I hold accountable if we lose somebody out there? That's what I always ask them. Who can we hold accountable for losing all these people? The city, the provincial government, the federal government. Who do we hold accountable for all of that? People getting sick, people losing limbs. It's quite a thing when you see stuff like that out there. People losing ears, fingers, toes, legs. People you don't see again. You go to homes and they have chronic illnesses. They can't get out of bed, or they're in wheelchairs. It's really something. That's why come and see. Quit putting band-aids out there. Bring some affordable housing. Come and see me. I'll show you affordable housing. We'll go get 1,000 affordable housings. That's gonna help lots out there. They can't be tearing them down every day, every Monday. They can't be tearing them down, throwing them all out. Cause they'll be up there Tuesday. And then the next Monday they do it all over again. What if you had your house torn down? You couldn't even replace the next day. At least they can replace theirs the next day. What happens to you when you lose your house? You lose your security. You lose your home. You have a car. You have a wife. You have 4 kids. What do? You grab a tent and go get some sleeping bags and go be homeless? Your family probably has riches, credit cards, inheritance, and you're good. But who out there, those homeless people, who has any of that? If it was 200 years ago, my great grandfather would have said, go out there, go kill 50 buffalo, skin them, let's make 15 new teepees. And he'd have a new teepee circle. Why can't they do that here? Nobody wants a house. They want tents. They want to sleep out there. Maybe they have to, but lots of them want them. There's family units out there. There's people from the 60s, brothers and sisters, foster brothers and sisters, who will not leave. Won't leave each other's side, because that's the only family that they have. The only protection they have. The only way they can take care of each other. You can't go in there and break them up once a week. Once a week, go out there and grab 25 of them. Go put them in a house. Quit taking their homes away. You're gonna displace them, replace them. That's the only way that you're gonna get rid of anything out there. The only way. Who is it gonna take to do that? It's gonna take everybody, not just the fire department, not just Comfy, not just the Friendship Center. Where can they go be safe, be at home? Couples, young couples who are trying to make families, pregnant women out there who are trying to be safe. Come out there and help them. Come out there and help them. I challenge anybody, come and see me. I'll take you to them. You may not like it, but that's the way they have to live. They have to live like that. They don't want to live like that. They have to live like that. They're forced to live like that. Can you be forced to live like that? That's what hurts. People don't understand what we went through, what we were forced to go through. And today, a lot of us are still being forced to do things that we shouldn't have to do. How do we right all that? The government keeps throwing billions of dollars at us, making our band-aids bigger and bigger. Like I said, we don't need band-aids. We need houses. We need teepees, tents. I have to realize we're nomadic people. We never had to stay in one place. 3, 4 months every season. Nowadays, you're forced to stay in Saskatoon. That's a question I had yesterday. How come there's so many people coming in off the reserve? Because education only goes up to grade 8 there. And if you have a dream, you'll say, yeah, I want to go to school in the city. So you go into the city and you get into school and whatever, and you run into your friends, your cousins, and you get dragged into that road, and pretty soon you're not in school, you're on the street. A lot of them don't even make it to school. They just go from the reserve to the city and that's it. They're homeless. There's nothing set up for them when they come to the city. Nothing at all. Oh, I can't say that. The wellness center in Fair Lake invites people to town. Mustard Seed invites people to town to come stay at their place. I don't know why. People, I don't even know. If they're gonna do that, they need to make they need to make drop-in centers, more overnight, more drop-in centers, 24-hour drop-in centers. They can't just leave them out there for 8 hours or 10 hours, 12 hours. They need to have something open 24/7 for them and not one thing, because there's too many houseless people out there to go into one place. There'd be too much static in the air. Everybody needs their space, their time. So it has to be many places. A friend of mine went driving around to the east side and we went looking for places. and we got turned down every time. I don't know why. I went to some of those churches and they're magnificent. They could hold 50 people comfortably, no more. There's a lot of those big churches. A church on Spadina, they spent what, $4.5 million fixing it up, renovating it. Wow. Why couldn't I go to the people? Try and talk to them. I try and say, hey, can you open your doors? Winter's coming. Nobody says nothing. They've made millions of dollars. They've built the most beautiful churches you could see that architects could ever think about. And that you think, well, will they ever open their door and let a homeless person in there to go sleep, go use the bathroom, go have a drink of water? What's wrong with that picture? When a young man can go freeze to death on a church steps, what's wrong with that picture? There's a lot of things I've seen out there like that. I just can't stand around and watch it happen. I have to talk about it. People dying, homeless people dying, people in derelict housing or whatever you call it, unsafe housing, little kids dying. That's what made me first start to get into this. I think that was in 91, 90 or 91 when my best friend, my roofing buddy, he lost his daughter. She was the same age as my son. They were always together. That's what made me get into housing, because I just about lost my son the same way. So I advocated for housing for 10 years. I went to the fire department, number 3, number 2 on W. Can't remember which one that was. W and 21st. And we went through a 3-day housing inspection program where we could walk into houses and just look at them. Yeah, you need this, 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 this. We had sheets to fill out and we could hand those in. And we had many houses closed down, many of them that had to be fixed up within a certain time. And if I could see today, I know I'd still be looking in the corners and the windows and the doors, and just like I was, it just became a habit every time I went into a house just to go look. Hey, you should go get your house fixed. I wish they would start up another program like that, because there are starting to be places that need to be fixed up, or else they could get closed down. I don't want them to get closed down. I want them to put money into them to fix them up. That way, there would be less homeless people in the city. What I really recently went through, it's like I didn't even have no rights or anything. I didn't have no help. It was really hard on me, physically, mentally, psychologically, where I know other people, they wouldn't go through that. I almost stopped, came to that point where I was just about having a heart attack, or I don't even know. And I almost just said, okay, never mind. I'll just walk. But something just made me, the warrior in me made me stand up and say, no, David, don't let him do that. Algamay mo. So that's what I'm doing. And after this, I'll know where to send people to the right places so they can get the right help, what they need to go through something like this. Because it's really been tragic on me in the last week. I'm glad I had supports. I had tall guy and left hand woman on each side of me, and that's what pulled me through. They came and sat at my hearing, and if they weren't there, I would have left. From everything what I heard, I don't know. That's why get an advocate, get somebody to be there with you to help you to rub your hand or your shoulder or just to be there. It's really important. That way you're not taking it by yourself. You can talk after about it. That's what we did. We had a good, what do you call that? After you're done, and you have to go talk about it to get it out of your
Like a
system.
debrief, yeah.
Yeah, debrief. Yeah, totally.
Yeah.
You totally need that. I just learned that debrief. I used to take all my problems home, but now I have to talk to somebody. If I hear stories like that, like when I'm at Smudge On, I hear a lot of stories, a lot of tragic stories, and they're built up inside of me, and I have to go home and sit with myself, just praying just to let that go, what I've heard, or else I'll keep it in, I'll cry, and I won't be able to, I won't be able to go to meetings, or I'll still, that'll be on my mind, and I just have to let it go. Some of it,
Yeah.
horror stories, some of them are funny, some are, but I went through a lot of that stuff, so I can sit there and listen, and I don't judge nobody. That's what a lot of people do, judge people and look down on them. Me, when I want to talk, come on, let's sit on the ground. That's where life starts, on the ground. I smudge on the ground. Come and sit there with me. I feel more connected when I sit on the ground. Like I said, I was raised in the 60s scoop. I lost all that. Now, the elders in town here are helping me because they know my story. They know I'm that little white boy. But they're each in their own, they're each telling me stories, helping me out. Um, like an elder should, not to judge you or anything, but to say, hey, what's happening? Can I help you? And listen to their story. That's what I do. I'm not an elder. I don't know if I'll ever be an elder. But my mom taught me how to smudge and how to pray. And a lot of these people have lost that. And they haven't smudged for 5 years, 10 years. I smudge with them out on the street and they come and sit with me. And they tell me their stories, how they got to town and what they had to do and how they lived. And they lost their kids, they lost their partners. There's a lot of different stories out there, man. There's 3,000 people out there. There's 3,000 scenarios out there. They're not just houseless. Why are they there? Go and sit down and ask. And then maybe encourage them to go do this or maybe do that. Don't tell them, go there, go that, do that, do that. Encourage them, well, there's always this place you could go to, or there's always that one. Or you could go over there. Don't force anybody. Because straight away, they're your enemy. That's what they've lived through. That's what I've lived through. I'm glad I can talk about it. 20 years ago, I cried talking like this. That's why I can stand up and be an advocate. It still hurts me. I still have tears. But back in those days, I was too tough to have tears. And I just ran from day to day to day to day. And then I learned to have tears. And I learned how to let it out. And then I learned how to listen. And that's why I can go out there today and just help lots of people. See, we told them I was teaching them that, but I haven't talked to them for a while because they are a great group of people. There's another group out there. I hope that they get funding to walk on the street. And it's not office work, that's street work, that's going walking with the people in the back alleys, in the streets, everywhere, in the libraries, in the offices. On the 1500 block, if you've heard of that. Supposed to be the rankest street or block in town. They have a drugstore there, they have a clinic, they have Prairie Harm, they have STC, they have a dentist office, and then a church. And that's supposed to be the roughest place in town. There's a medical office, and then my apartment, and then the Larson house, and they do not, the city or the mail refuses to deliver mail there because they're always getting hassled or robbed, or they've tried to rob them and everything. So there's hardly any mail gets delivered around there. But that place is going down, Prairie Harm. It's gonna cost much, much, much money to fix it up. And if they were to move it and find a new place for it and expand it, it would be a lot better, I believe. There's too many people out on the street dying. I've heard that was last weekend, there was warnings on the radio. There was bad drugs out there. So they need a bigger place. That I think that place takes 6 people at a time. So you imagine when there's 200 people there, they don't wait in line. For a new place to be put, I wouldn't know.
Yeah, we definitely need more resources and more supports for people and places for people to clean up as well, to get sober and to get off of.
I've had a few friends come and ask me, well, let's go check it out on the phone. And we go check it out on the phone. And there's like a 6-month waiting on some of those places. Yeah. Larson House, you can go in there overnight, 8 hours. Then you're out. Or you can sign up for the 7-day program. And then you're out in 7 days. And then they can switch you. Not the Larson. I forget, across the river, there's another program. But that takes time.
Yeah.
And that's in between that time is when you relapse or fall off or find a friend or.
Yeah, it's hard staying sober on the streets.
With
It's
those,
just a survival mechanism.
yeah, with those street outreach people out there, they're out there 24/7, and they really quieten down the neighborhood. Like people aren't breaking into things. People aren't hungry. People, they give out blankets. There's a fire happening at Comfy every night. They have a nice, real nice fire. The only thing, there's that rough element that goes through there. And when I was there, I just finished up and I just left right away. Because that rough element came in. So I said, see you later. And that's one thing. They were dealing with it, but better than the cops would.
Yeah.
Way better than the cops would.
Community organizations do
Yeah.
a really good job.
It was the community taking care of that fire. There was some people come in there and the people that work there say, we told them, hey, guys, you can't do it. No language like that. And they turn on like, if you call the cops. And now, then a bunch of people that were sitting there, hey, you guys, we'll give you guys 2 minutes.
Mhm.
And they took off running. So they need, like I said, they need people that people know in the community who will stand up and say, hey, don't do that.
Yeah.
Not some cop that gonna put handcuffs on you and take you away and, you know,
Mhm.
it has to be the people taking care of the people.
Yeah.
That way, like I said, when we go for walks out there, they respect us. It's like, hi, how are you doing? You want coffee or I don't know. It's taken me 30 years to earn that respect out there because I was a crazy guy. Yeah. I don't think I was liked in the neighborhood too good because I sold drugs. I did crazy things, drank all the time. Yeah, but and then one day you turn over a new leaf and you start to learn different things and better things and you learn things the real way. And then you start to heal yourself. And then once you can do that, you start to listen to other people and you can start to help other people. And that's where I come in. I listen to people and I can show them which way to go, or if it's housing, if it's being homeless, if food, showers, stuff like that.
Critical stuff. That brings us to the end that flew by
Alright.
really quickly, but thank you, David Fineday. And
Yes.
this has been Homelands 90.5 FM in Saskatoon, CFCR. And you can catch us on our YouTube channel. You can catch the whole thing. So subscribe today and yeah, have a great day.
Muy estás?